here I am live today, and I've got a few questions. Hi, Carol. I got your question. I'm going to talk to you about that. It's an interesting topic of about pendulums and what you're pulling in. I think I told you about the booklet you can get from me. It's a PDF. It's a 23-page PDF, and it's called Letter to Robin. And it was written by, and I've got his name right here, and I should remember it, but I don't, Will Woods. And in it, he discusses that. So we'll get to that in the questions. Hi, Skywalking Lady in Shasta. And so what I'm going to talk to you about first, and then I'll summarize it again at the end. Changes coming this month. I am going to do 9 candles again, and I'm going to start on the 12th of June. You'll get a lot of information, but I'm going to do the 9 red candles. The kids said I could do it provided that I put it on a pizza stone. If I put the candles on a pizza stone, because I don't know if you heard what happened last time, but one of my candles exploded, and it was on a rotating tray that was like plastic, and it started a fire. The thing that I have over here at the table, I'll show you the table. That whole area got burnt underneath. That's why I have this cloth on it. Underneath there's a big brown spot so the kids and I have taken a bit of time to remove from screen. The kids and I have spent a bit of time discussing it, and so we finally decided they think I should do it again. And I want to do it because I think we crossed these last 2 eclipses have thrown us into a different change mode, that we need more positivity going on around us. And Gail, you haven't gotten your letter yet, but you're going to be one of my people that I do a show with. I'll have another person on with me from every show. They'll either be readers or people who I have other connections with. And it'll start the 12th of June, and it will go to the 20th, and it goes to the day before the solstice. And the whole thing is, I've done a lot of reading and studying on Stonehenge, and there's a huge exhibit called Life in the Time of Stonehenge. It's at the British Museum. If I remember, I'll put a link to it, but it's absolutely fascinating. There's some YouTube videos about it. And they show, there's an exhibit where there's all these floating axe heads, all these chiseled floating axe heads from the Stone Age when they built Stonehenge. And there's one for each 10 years that Stonehenge was working. So there's this wall of axe heads. And I would have thought I'm telling you this, you're going, that's not interesting. It's actually fascinating when these people go through with you about all what's going on. But they also go into the ceremonies and all the other things that were going on around Stonehenge. And the biggest one, of course, that they know of is the summer solstice, and the things they found archaeologically about that. So we're going to be building up to, good, you got your 9 candles ready and waiting. Mine are being sent in. I went my kids actually tried to talk me into getting the LED kind of candles, and I told them I didn't think it would work, that I really wanted to do the 9 candles. But what it's going to be is, during those days, I'm going to ask people a question each day about what they're grateful for, and if they could change one thing, what would it be? And I'm hoping that people walk into the solstice, which is a renewal time. It's the longest day of light that we have in the year, and we come into it with a more grateful heart and a more open vision about where we want to go. So that's my 9 candles. The other thing is, it has not gone through yet, but I posted with YouTube, and I'm going to have a membership level so you can join monthly. And the whole emphasis behind it is, it's called the Oracle Garden Membership. And I guarantee, the one thing I am absolutely guaranteeing is 2 times a month, I'm going to have garden parties with the people who own gardens. And I'm also discounting the gardens for the next couple months to get more people into gardening. And I have fought the whole thought about going putting something behind a paywall. Although, I've had people tell me that's silly. You need to make a living at this. And I would like to make more of a living than I'm making. Who wouldn't? But I actually was told by 4 different people in the last 2 weeks who are gardeners. They play with their garden all the time. We correspond back and forth. And they said, you need to create a paid thing for gardeners, and we can become our own little social group. And people who don't want to be there don't have to be there. We don't have to worry about, we can learn. And what I learn as much from everybody who owns a garden that comments and talks to me, I learn every bit as much as I think they learn from me. And I know that reading the garden every day, like I do with Jeffrey in those concentrated times, is very interesting. And so I'm just real interested in that. And I'm helping Alma wrap up the past life garden so she can get that too. The 9 candles can be whatever you want them to be, Sin. This is the question that I got. You can do whatever colors you want. And I talked about that with Medium Kim when she was on last time. And she burned a different colored candle than a red one because of her feelings about that color. So, okay. Dr. Gale needs a chiropractor in Mount Shasta. And I don't doubt it after her trek across the country. So, anyway, that's what's going on this month, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. And on top of that, I'm going to answer a few questions. If you type questions in capitals in the next couple minutes, I'll get to them. Otherwise, the table gets to come back and visit us. And I get to shrink, pull it over here. Okay. Puka Rabbit is wondering about a job change. And so I'm going to pull up. She has actually 2 questions, so I'm going to lay them one on top of the other. The first question is, pen off paper. The first question is, she wants to make a job change. She's been afraid to go out in the work world, reasonably so, because her husband has asthma and she didn't want to bring COVID home. But she wants to know if Puka Rabbit, if you are here, if you can tell me your birth date, I'll tell you which personal year if you're in a personal year change, what that can be to make things better. And when I'm finished with her question, I'll talk about how to use personal years to make those kinds of decisions and how to calculate your personal year. Top row is looking for a job this year. That card's not this good. Choices. Okay. And this is finding a job in 2023. I can tell you right now, I think if you get something now, you're going to have trouble finding something that what you're educated in. And this is actually the 5 of coins, but it takes a different meaning. It says you needn't go through this current challenges alone. Help from others is nearby. And you're going to have a choice, and you make choices from your heart. And I think protecting your husband's health right now is a choice you're making from your heart. But something is going to change because this is 13. This is in the traditional deck. In this deck, it's called Peace. I think it's a gorgeous card. Try to get the glare off of it. But it's Archangel Azrael. And, okay. And it's just a gorgeous card. And it says, release the past. There's more coming in the future. This whole bunch, and this is perspective. This is the Tower. So there's so much more for you, I think, in 2023 when I look at the cards. The first one is you have the Knight of Raphael, which is you're going to trip into something you love. You're going to be helped by a dark-haired, dark-eyed woman. You're going to go into a woman-owned business. You're going to have a lot of choices there. This is a question I'm giving to Puka Rabbit. I'm sorry, I keep renaming you something else. But if I sent you out into the forest and there was buckets of paint out there, what color paint would you bring back to me? If you can get me that answer, I'll explain it to you, what I'm looking for in that. Okay. And then the next card is that you get the Seven of Raphael. And this is where you make the decision. And what you pick is these are all the chakra colors. So basically, whatever color you bring back from the field to me is the color of the chakra that you need to work on. That's your mind will pull it out for you. And you'll get a job that you can control the situation better. I would say 2023, and I would say early 2023 is the best time for you to go get a job. Now, let's see, one other person. And I'm going to do the readings I have, and then I'll go through the questions. But I'm going to explain, for those of you who don't know what a personal year is, we're going to go into Tammy's 3-month reading. And then the rest of them are discussion questions. So, Tammy's 3-month reading. And I lost a deck of my cards. I used to have the Hanson Roberts, which I always paired with these when I did long month readings like this. And when I do year readings, this is the first part. So this is June, July, and August. And these are the modifiers. And so I'm going to use my Morgan Greer deck, which is a deck I read for years at Psychic Fairs. And I love the imagery on it. And let's see, this is for Tammy. Okay, you got an interesting summer. Among other things, you have 2 knights on your board. Knights always mean movement. Not a Raphael means you're making some judgments right now, and there's going to be some judgments around you about what you want to do with your heart. And you're taking a long, hard look at that right now. Committed romantic relationships, sometimes it's being swept off your feet. It also doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a situation or something that's going to swoop into your life and make you feel great. You're going to think, boy, this is everything I ever wanted. And dreams are coming true. This is your July. But then you've got the 2 of Cups upside down, which means there's going to be some disagreements and things that are going to cloud up that month a bit. Then you have the Knight of Ariel, which is the Knight of Coins. And there's so much to be accomplished, and make a detailed plan. So August is going to be a detailed plan time. And whatever you're planning is not going to go forward in August, but it's something that's going to start in September, which leads us to whole other thing, but I'm not doing a 6-month reading. So you're going to be offered some stuff in June. It's going to be really positive. You're going to kind of get something you've always kind of wished for in July. And then in August, it's going to, you're going to make plans for it, but it won't come through until, okay, we're going to mark you. Okay. Well, okay. I've started marking things. And if you didn't put it in caps, I won't know it's there. I'm going to switch me back to here because I'm talking. Okay. What a personal year is. The personal year is based on, and I have one I can set up for you today. Today is my daughter's birthday. Yay! I can tell you exactly where I was 45 years ago. Let me tell you. Anyway, to figure out your personal years, she's born in June, so that's 6. So you put a 6 down. She's born on the 2nd of June, so you put a 2 down. You add those 2 together. So that's the number 8. Then you take the digits in this year. And since we're in 2022, there's 3 2s, so it's a 6. So you take the 8 from her birth month and day, and you add that to the 6, which is her this particular year. You add those 2 together, that makes 14, unless math has changed since I studied it last. And you take the 1 and the 4, and you add those 2 digits together of the 14, and that makes a 5. Casey is entering a 5 personal year. Now, she has had, her last year was a 4, and one day I'll just do a show on personal years, but or you can go look it up on Google. You'll find more than you ever wanted to know about it. But 4 can be a very difficult year. It's a year when you build your true base. My worst 4 year was the year that my husband died and my mother died. And one of the things you're going to find out about personal years, some people say you should add the digits that it changes to on January 1st. I don't do that. I go because my life experiences and my synchronicities have taught me that it's from birth date to birth date. So if you want to know you can, okay, I just lost my thought. If you want to know what you can do, you can figure out your year and then go Google whatever the personal year is. It's going to be a 1 to a 9. And they run in 9-year cycles. And when I do the whole show on it, I'll explain to you how 1 year flows into the next. But Casey's going into 5-year, which is going to be great for her because that's freedom. It's either freedom or chaos. And she's figured out how to get herself free from some things. So it's going to be a good year for her. Okay. Okay. We're going to do the next question on with the pendulum, and I'm going to switch it over so you can see where the pendulum's swinging. Okay. Okay. And this is for Carol Lamb, who wanted to know about what's flowing through when you're using a pendulum. That's why I asked these 3 questions. The first one is, do I have permission to dowse? Yes. Am I aligned with my higher self? Yes. And am I fully protected? Yes. When you've asked that, then you've called your guides in to protect you. Okay. We're going to see Carolyn Poole. Are your husband's medical results going to turn out to be cancer? Yes, dear, they are. That's what the grid says. Now, let's see. Is he going to the right doctor? I got a real strong he's going to the right doctor. So sorry about that. And this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a doctor and I don't know what his medical records look like. Okay. I'm going to ask if his career is going to move in a positive direction with this internship. Yep, got a really strong yes on that. That's kind of all I can do on that one. Let's see what this one is. Okay. I'm thinking about how to get that. What is the energy around my life path right now? It's thunder. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to pull you a crystal, a stone. Let's see. I'm using this deck, the crystal reading cards. And you talk about synchronicities and how you can relate back to something. The woman who wrote this book, I think she's from either Australia or New Zealand. She needed a place to stay in New York when she came up to promote her book several years ago. She ended up staying with Jeffrey, so he knows her. That was years before I knew Jeffrey. And okay, let's see. Yeah, off of here, so I'm not distracted by it. What's the energy around Elizabeth's life right now? Labradorite, you're being told you need to take action. And that means that that's the energy that's around your life right now. Labradorite's a beautiful stone, and it's a very powerful stone. And I'm going to read you the highlights of labradorite. That's third eye and crown. So you're using energy out of that part of your body, and it allows you to connect with mystery and magic of life, assists you in awakening the magic in your soul, brings deep awareness to your spiritual knowledge, allowing it to manifest in your day-to-day life, brings spiritual insight. You're on a spiritual journey, dear. Okay. Supports you to integrate spiritual experiences into the physical world. opens and activates your third eye. So if you're looking for to tie into your best energies, you'd be looking for a way to work with that part of your energetic system. Okay, now let's see. All right. Who's next? Oh. Okay, we're going to ask if you know him already first. This is Michelle. Does Michelle already know the person she's going to marry? It's a yes and a no. I think you know of him. I don't think he's in your life right now, but it's someone's coming out of your past to meet up with you. And it's going to be a fun and joyous meeting, but there's going to be an issue about who moves where, who relocates over this. I think this is the one that just went away, and that's okay because the moon's reversed. It means that energy's out of your life. But let me see if I can find. We're going to pendulum you a year if I can get it to work. Okay. I don't have to answer those 3 questions this time because I've already asked them. And I'm going to say, okay, this is 1 to, we're going to take this as 1 to 10 because I'm not going to make you wait 100 years to meet this gentleman. Okay. Will Michelle be getting married? How many years till Michelle gets married? It went over to 2. So it's going to be sometime in the next 2 years. Okay. And Dr. Gale wants a 3-month reading. And who can you not do that for? Oh, by the way, I just got handed from off air. $10 off on up to 3, if you can do that with up to 3 gardens. So if you bought Gardens for Friends. And it's the word you need to put in, the code word is garden party. And it's if you go to my store at www.crystaldirections.com, that information will be there. And because there's a store, you go to there and it'll take you through all of that. It's easy to follow. So now I got to focus on Dr. Gale's next 3 months. Well, June's going to feel a little awkward for you, but how's that modified? July's great, and you're on the move. I mean, you're getting your stuff together by August, so. And the other message from your June card is you don't need to go through this all by yourself. You can learn to rely on others. And you're pretty good at keeping your thoughts pretty clear, so. Okay, and so this is modifier for June. Oh, change. Yeah, I'd say this June is a change for you. Yeah, this is getting out of here. This is you're going to start meeting people and meeting a lot of people and getting along really well. And you're going to meet people who are going to help you dump your burdens. August is going to be a move month, but in June, you don't need to go through things on your own, but there's so much change going on around you, and we all know you've relocated. So that would be kind of what I would totally expect. Now, July is make choices from your heart, deeply emotional commitments, and you're going to start meeting. When this card's reversed, it means you are not left out in the cold. It means you're meeting the people you need to meet. So that's really going to amp up for you in July. And by August, it's Katie bar the door, man. You're on your way. That's good news. Just what I'd say in June is you're going to feel a little awkward. You know, It's like a friend of mine used to say, even if you stay in the loveliest hotel in the world, it's still not home. And they still got to get rid of all those things. Okay, Nancy Jean, I posted. Okay, this is about the pendulums. I showed you on the pendulum frame, and I have it. If you get the thing Danny put together for us, you got the questions are already on there. When I read through Will Wood's book this morning after I saw your question, I thought about it, and you're really calling on your guides to help guide the movement. But when you're like dowsing for some things, because he also teaches dowsing for physical objects. And if you're doing that, you're connecting an energetic field to you and the object. It's water or minerals or all kinds of stuff people look for. Ley lines, energy lines, things like that. But it's not like the kind of spooky Ouija board sort of stuff. It's your own energy and your spirit guides directing you to see how to control that object to give you your answer. I hope that answers your question, Carol. Okay. Dana, I script your, okay. I missed Dana's question. This is really hard for me to do when I'm on my own. Okay, I got hello all. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Here it is. No, I read yours. Or unless two of you have sons going into internships, but I'll read it again. Let's see what I can pick. I'll use the cards instead of the dowsing. God, how big these cards are. Dana's son's internship is going to go well. I'm going to ask if his internship is going to go well. I think he's got his mindset on one kind of medicine, and he's going to change his mind. Oh, you can't see it because I don't make it big enough. Okay. He's going to have a change of heart. I get a feeling he might have been a little disappointed that he wanted to go to one place for his internship and he ended up in another, but it's a good thing because he needs to make some changes. He's pretty nervous about going into all this, but it's going to turn out great because the sun, when I see the sun, I don't ever turn it around. It's always right side up. But I think he's going to change his mind on the kind of medicine he ends up, either how he approaches it, but he needs to get out of his anxiety. He needs to learn to meditate or let it go or live with what's he's feeling. Let me see, what's this? Is he worried about leaving home or leaving where he's lived for a long time? Because I see it's actually a good move for him, but he has some feelings about leaving home. But it's mostly just anxiety. I remember I have two brothers who are both retired physicians now, but one of them got into Vanderbilt's medical school, and the first day on the floor, they had okay, come, so you want to see my sky. They had 3 people. Yes, this is for entertainment purposes only, but they had 3 people walk and just say, I don't want to be there anymore. And the school brought everybody that they recruited into that class, and they grilled them because there's, they reject so many people in getting into it, or they try to find people who are balanced with what their programs are. Okay. Okay. Prince Charming's mom, and I believe Prince Charming is a beautiful dog that's right there in that picture. What's a 6-year? A 6-year is a hearth and home. You're going to feel more like nesting. Last year you probably went out and did some changes. You felt you did some things and God knows how you did it with COVID around us, but you felt like you had more freedom. You had more freedom of thought. And that is if you built a good 4-year. Okay, I'm going to have to do this, I think. Let me go see how many more comments are down here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the personal year, and then I'll look down and see if any question really catches my eye. But there's 9 years in the cycle, and a 1 year is a pioneering year. And if you think about it as a one, like one in the reason I know numerology is I used to teach it to explain tarot. It's a really easy way to learn 1 to 10 in the suits, but one is like ones. It's the beginning. It's the start of whatever's going on. And in a 1 year, you're going to be initiating a lot of decisions, changing your plans, doing things like that. A 2 year is a partnering time, and it's when you have a lot of communication going back and forth between you and other people, but it's usually face-to-face, one-to-one kind of communication. A 3 year is the strongest form in geometry, and it also it's a great year for going into groups, building foundations, beginning to understand how you want to build your life. And there's a lot of communication, a lot of talk in threes. 3 is my life path. Can I say more? 4 is four is where you build a foundation. If you think about a 4, it goes conk, 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 conk. So you get moving, and I'm doing it, and you hit a corner, and then I got to move, and then I hit a corner, and then I got to go up. So in a 4 year, you'll see a lot of adjustments, and because you're trying to build the strongest base you can. And if you go in that 4 year and you avoid going in those corners and you don't clean stuff out, you've been kind of accumulating along the way. Then you go into 5 year. And a 5 year is freedom or chaos. Now, if you did your 1 through 4, if you were aware and were working on it, a 5 year can be a year of great freedom where a lot of things come to you because you've done the prep work, you've gotten rid of the garbage, you've gotten rid of the things that don't suit you, you set a new path for yourself. If you don't do that, then you have chaos. A certain former guy who was president, sort of, his life path is a 5, and he's like all the worst parts of a 5 you can have. Just chaos, trains behind the man. So 5 is freedom or chaos, and so you'll have to think about what you went through, Prince Charming's mom, in last year, and you probably shifted a lot of things around, found a lot of doors opened up to you that you maybe didn't know were going to be there, just a lot of stuff like that. Then 6 year, which is where Prince Charming's mom's going into, that's a hearth and home. And you've been out there, you've been exploring, you've been doing things, and now you want to come down and settle down. Now, that's a year when people will buy a home, fix their houses up, make a lot of changes that are close in and close to them and in their own environment. A lot of people have kids in their 6 year, but it's, that kind of stuff. But it's hearth and home is the way I like to characterize it, because I work a lot with keywords. 7 is spirit and analysis. And I know people are like, well, if I'm a spiritual person, why am I analyzing all this? Well, it's the same thing. You're exploring internally and trying to relate it to the outside world. That's your 7 year. It's a big spirit year. It's a big year to have those kinds of awakenings. And the reason you need all this stuff is because the 8 year is money and power. So if you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successfully and kind of done what you're supposed to do in them, the 8th year, you bring all that stuff together, and that's when you start getting the payoff, whether it's money or whether it's power or whether it's just feeling more completed. It's that kind of a feeling. And then a 9, when you get to the 9 year, you look back at what you've done for the last 8, and the 9 years where you kind of reassess everything and run it through the strainer and decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to let go. My favorite 9 year story is I was working with a waiter at times 10. And he was also a sommelier, but his father owned properties around Dallas, and he helped his dad keep his properties up. But he had managed, and he was an incredibly handsome guy. And he had long hair that he used to wear in a man bun when he was at work, which has got to be the ugliest hairstyle I've ever seen in my life. But he and I got along really well. And he came up to me and he sat down at the table before I started doing my readings. And he said, "I don't know what's going on." I said, "Well, honey, what are you feeling?" And he said, and then I noticed, I said, "Where'd your man bun go?" Because, I said he wasn't going to cut his hair. He said, "Oh, I got tired of it and I cut it off." I said, "Okay." And then I said, "So what else is going on?" And he goes, "Well, I've started dating somebody new and I really, really, really like her." And I said, "Well, good for you." And I was sitting there talking to him, and he said, "There's only one problem. She's got a kid." And he'd always told me he was never going to date anyone who had a child because that was not in his scope, wasn't what he was going to do. He was going to inherit somebody else's problems. And I said, "Well, go out with her for a while. And, this isn't a decision you have to make tonight." I said, "What else is going on?" And he said, "I think I'm going to go to work for my dad part-time and really help him start fixing up his apartments. His dad salvaged old apartments, big old brick ones that they tear down all the time here. And they're beautiful places." Anyway, I said, "Oh, good, go to work with your dad." And he said, "Yeah, but they want me to go on and do the further advancements and working at the winery." And I said, "Well, can you do both?" And he said, "Yeah, I can do both." And then I looked at him, I said, "When's your birthday?" And he said, "It's Friday." And so I got out my little pen and paper, and he was ending a 9-year. He was going into a 1-year. He was doing everything he should have been doing the last 9 years in like 2 weeks. But anyway, I saw him last week when I went over to times 10 just to sit outside and be in the cool air with some friends of mine. And he is now married to the lady with the lovely little girl, and her daughter's just charming. And they just had their first baby boy. So, and he is now happily into this would almost be, next year will be his 6th year. He took one of his dad's building and made one floor into a big, huge house for them. And, but that's what happens. So if you go back and look up and see dates and times and memorable times in your life, you'll find out there's some years that push you harder and some years that really let you go. So this person said, "What does a 2 in a 222 mean?" Okay. Well, when you add all those together, you add each digit up, that makes a 6. So if your birth date adds up to 2, and then the year is 2022 is when that happened, then you'd be in an 8, which is a money power year. And that's like the world's most cut down version of numerology. Can do so much more. I should do more with it. I've kept trying to find a numerologist to come on with me and explain it, but so okay, I've told you that the gardens are discounted if you go to the store and buy them for the next month. I'm opening up a membership level that's for gardeners. I guess anybody could join it, and if you want to support me, please. But I'm going to make a commitment to at least have 2 long gardening sessions. I'm probably going to do them in Zoom because then everybody can kind of be together. And I hope to build a community of people who all have the garden, share the gardens, and can learn to. Every person brings their own personal experience into the garden, and that makes it an important place for us to learn and grow. And I will grow so much more from you that, it's just really important. And then, okay, the other thing I announced, and Sharon Sipe, you missed this. I'm going to be doing 9 candles. I'm going to start on the 12th of June. If you want to follow along, you can get your 9 candles. They don't have to be red. You can make them whatever color you want. Since we're going into the solstice, yellow, white, whatever. And each day we're going to be exploring what am I grateful for that day in particular, and what is one thing that I want to position to change, because we're going into the summer, we're going into the change of time for that year, we're going into light, and this time I'm not going to burn my desk up. Last time a candle exploded after it was off air and burnt my desk, but we figured that problem out. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching me. I'm now going to go off, and I'm not going to work for 3 days because it's my daughter's birthday, and tomorrow we're having the big dinner, and her brother bought her a beef tenderloin, a beautiful beef tenderloin, and I get to cook it. I get to sous vide it. If you don't know what sous vide is, that's heating it up in water, and it's how restaurants can keep all their meat at the same temperature. And I'm grateful to each one of you that wrote me. And Kathy and she's the one that when I opened it up this morning, I said, oh, that's what I'm going to do with the 9 candles. It's every day we're going to do a little meditation at the beginning, and then we're going to go, I am grateful for today. So you kind of need to come in with something you're grateful for, because going into the light with gratitude is very helpful. Thank you. I will tell Casey that you wished her happy birthday. She's just enjoying the hell out of not working. This is a very busy time at work, and she went to her boss and said, I'm taking the day off. So she's taking the day off. And I look forward to seeing how this all works out. I'm really trying to get my act a little bit more together. I'm feeling much better. And what I'm grateful for today is all of you that showed up. And thank you all for coming by, and I will see you later. And go look at my daily podcast, little things with Jeffrey. And you have a good day. Bye.